Hello friends, welcome to Creation Station. I'm Camilla and this is Nacho. Today we're here to learn more about the Bible and worship God with songs. We're going to have such a great time. Let's learn.
Hello Creation Station friends! I am here to help you with your memory verse. I bet you already know it. Do you know it? It's okay, we're going to say it together. Are you ready? I keep my eyes on the Lord. I will not be shaken. Psalm 16:8. Good job! Very good! Okay, how about we say it all together? Okay, 1, 2, 3. I keep my eyes on the Lord. I will not be shaken. Psalm 16:8. Good job! Now it's time for our Bible story with Miss Polly. Are you ready? Alright, put your thinking caps on. Pay attention, and here we go. Bye!
Hello Creation Station friends, and welcome back to our story time. My name is Miss Polly and I'm here to tell you a story from the Bible. The story that we're going to learn today comes from the book of Daniel. Daniel is in the Old Testament. The Bible is divided in two. We have the Old Testament, that is everything that happened before Jesus was born, and then we have the New Testament, that everything that happened after Jesus was born. So the book of Daniel is in the Old Testament. And the book of Daniel tells the story of Daniel. And we're going to learn a little bit about Daniel. Daniel loved God with all his heart, and he tried his best to obey God. And he had a very good habit. Do you know what a habit is? A habit is something we do every day, a lot of times. For example, do you brush your teeth every day? Well, you should. I do. Do you eat every day? Do you go to sleep every night? See, those are habits. Like, do you have a bedtime? Like 8:30 or 8 or 7:30 that you have to be in bed? Those are habits. So Daniel had a special habit that actually got him in a little bit of trouble. A lot of trouble. Are you ready to learn about it? Let's learn together.
Daniel and the scary sleepover. Things were not looking good for God's people. They had been captured and taken far from home, and now they were slaves of the king of Babylon. But God had not left his people. He was with them, and he was looking after them. Daniel loved God and obeyed him. Now, God made Daniel able to understand lots of difficult things, so it wasn't long before the king of Babylon noticed him. King Darius liked how clever Daniel was, so he made Daniel his most important helper of all and put him in charge of lots of other helpers. But the other helpers didn't like this. They wanted the king to like them best. They wanted to get rid of Daniel, so they spied on Daniel. They tried to find things wrong with Daniel, things they could tell the king, things they could... But there weren't any. None. They couldn't find anything at all. Except, there was just the one thing. Every day, 3 times a day, without fail, no matter what, Daniel went to his room, closed the door, and prayed. They smiled to themselves. Let's get the king to make a law. No one is allowed to pray to anyone except to the king. Daniel won't obey this law, and he'll be punished. They were pleased with themselves for being so clever and hurried off to tell the king. The king liked their idea. He didn't know they were tricking him, so he made it into a law. Everyone must pray, only to me. If you don't, the lions will have you for their dinner. Daniel heard this. He knew it was wrong to pray to anyone except God. He had to do what God said, whatever it cost him, even if it meant he would die. So Daniel went to his room, closed the door, and prayed. Well, that's just what the bad men knew Daniel would do. They skipped straight off to tell the king. "Oh, your most glittering highness, your law says, does it not, that everyone must pray to you alone, sire?" "Yes," said the king. "Oh, magisterial brightness, then correct us if we're wrong. But it would seem that Daniel is praying to God, not to you." The king was sad. He had been tricked. But he didn't want to hurt Daniel, but he couldn't change his law. And so he let the soldiers throw Daniel to the lions. "May your God, who you love so much, rescue you," the king said. The king went back to his palace, but he didn't sleep that night. Not a wink. He tossed and turned until finally, at the first glimmer of dawn, he leapt out of bed and ran straight to the den. "Daniel," he cried, "has your God rescued you?" "Yes," Daniel shouted. "God sent an angel to close the lions' mouths." And there, resting his head on Daniel's lap, was the biggest lion, purring like a little kitten. The king brought Daniel out of the den. "Look," he said, "Daniel doesn't even have a scratch." The king made a new law. Daniel's God is the true God, the God who rescues. Pray to him instead. God would keep on rescuing his people, and the time was coming when God would send another brave hero like Daniel, who would love God and do what God said, whatever it cost him, even if it meant he would die. And together they would pull off the greatest rescue the world has ever known.
Hey friends, that was a great story, but I want to know if you really paid attention. So Camila's here to help us with the game. And the game is like this. I'm going to say something about the story. And if it's true, if it happened in the story, I want you to give me a big thumbs up. Let me see you doing a big thumbs up. Good job. Now, if I say something that is not true, that did not happen in the story, I want you to give me a big thumbs down. Okay? All right, let's start. Daniel had a habit. He prayed every day. Thumbs up, that was true. Daniel prayed every day. Because Daniel was clever, King Darius sent him to school. Did he send him to school? No, thumbs down. He just made him the most important helper, right? The other helpers liked Daniel so much and they were happy he was in charge. No, they were mad. They did not like Daniel at all. They wanted to get rid of Daniel, right? Daniel had done nothing wrong. That's true. Praying to God wasn't wrong. The helpers knew that Daniel prayed to God every day. Is that true or is that not true? Yes, Daniel prayed every day. All right, next question. The helpers set a trap for Daniel. And here was the trap. They got the king to chase Daniel with a huge net. Is that true? No, that's silly. That's not true. The helpers got the king to make a new law that no one is allowed to pray to anyone except the king. Was that true? That was true. That was the trap that they got Daniel in. If you broke the law, you would be sent into time out. Was that what you'd be sent into? No. Daniel knew it was wrong to pray to anyone except God. He had to obey God, whatever it cost him. Was that true? It was true. He obeyed God. The helpers told the king that Daniel was praying to God, and the king changed the law to save Daniel. No, he didn't change the law. Daniel was thrown to the lions, but the lions weren't hungry. So Daniel was just rescued. Is that what happened? No. Daniel was thrown to the lions, but God sent an angel to close the lion's mouth. So Daniel was rescued. Is that true? That is true. What a cool story, isn't it? So Daniel knew that the right thing was to pray to God. And even though he was scared, do you think he was scared because of the lions? I do. I would be scared. He still had to obey God because he loved God so much. But guess what? God rescued him. And we know that later in the Bible, God is going to send another big hero that's going to rescue us, not just Daniel. Do you know who that is? Do you know who that is? Do you know? That's right, that's Jesus. Okay, and you know what we've got to do now? Are you ready to do some dancing and singing, Camilla? So everybody, let's stand up. You know what comes next. We're going to sing together and dance. Let me see you dance.
Stop and go, stop and go, stop and go, stop. Stop and go, stop and go, stop and go, go. Stop and listen to what God says. Go and do what He tells you to do. Stop and listen to what God says. Go and do what He tells you to do. Stop and go, stop and go, stop and go, stop. Stop and go, stop and go, stop and go, go. Stop and listen to what God says. Go and do what He tells you to do. Stop and listen to what God says. Go and do what He tells you to do. Stop and go, stop and go, stop and go, stop. Stop and go, stop and go, stop and go, go. We're gonna stop, be still and know He is God. We're gonna go, let our life always show His love. Yeah. Woo! Stop and go, stop and go, stop and go, stop. Stop and go, stop and go, stop and go, go. Stop.
My God is so big and so strong and so mighty. There's nothing my God cannot do. My God is so big and so strong and so mighty. There's nothing my God cannot do. My God is so big and so strong and so mighty. There's nothing my God cannot do. My God is so big and so strong and so mighty. There's nothing my God cannot do. In the beginning, God made everything. God simply spoke and the world came to be. He sent a flood and made everything new.
fun? I know I did. Can't wait to see you next week. Bye!